Hello everyone, I'm Bruffy1322 and this video is going to show the fastest fully upgraded commercial vehicles in terms of lap time. We're quickly going to go over the slowest vehicles right now, and as always the position counter is in the top left with the best lap time the vehicle achieved in the top right. This video only focuses on track performance, so if you're interested in top speed where braking, cornering and acceleration aren't relevant, check the link in the description for the top speed testing series, and if you want to know more information about this testing including the extent to which it's accurate and how useful it is for you personally, have a read of the full description as everything that you need is in there. This video lists all vehicles and is correct as of the Supersport series update. For vehicles added after that or other classes of cars, check the playlist linked in the second line of the description, and feel free to check out my Patreon if you want to get these testing results a few days before the videos go up every Thursday. So the commercials class, this is now with these 2018 retesting videos, we're now into the area of vehicles that you can't use in regular races. So when you're in a racing lobby, you can scroll through the classes and you're going to stop at utility. You're not going to get commercial, industrial, service, military, emergency. You're not going to have the ability to race with those vehicles. I don't know why, you'd have to ask Rockstar for that. It's a bit of a shame that we can't race in these big trucks and big rigs like the hauler for example, but hey, that is how it is. So yeah, it's interesting, you know, to get an idea of what kind of lap times these big vehicles would get. And obviously they're not very quick. The Biff with a 144, we obviously saw the tanker was in last place, that was being pulled by a regular Phantom. They're not quick lap times, but most people are probably going to be interested when it comes to this video about the big rigs, the Hauler Custom, the Phantom Custom, maybe the Phantom Wedge as well, because that's what you get with the MOC. But I just want to point out, because I had a lot of questions about this during the utility vehicles video, which is what we had last. A lot of people seem to think that the MOC includes the cab as well. So people were asking what's the MOC's lap time without the trailer. But the MOC is the trailer. The thing that pulls it, the truck, the big rig that pulls it, is either a Phantom Custom or a Hauler Custom, and those are in the commercial vehicles class. The MOC itself, which is just the trailer, is in the utility vehicles class, so we will be seeing those vehicles here. But when the MOC is being pulled by either the Hauler Custom or the Phantom Custom, the difference they have between each other is really negligible, to be honest. The Hauler Custom is generally the better one to have when pulling the MOC, but it's not really making that much of a difference because essentially the MOC has such a big effect on the speed that it makes them both about the same. So yeah, we've seen a sort of interesting selection of vehicles from the commercial vehicles class. We had the Hauler, which was in the sort of the worst of the big rigs. We've got the Packer here, which is next of those, and then in between those we've had some, you know, kind of unique vehicles. We've got the Stockade here, which is another one of those, which is in 6th place, so doesn't do too badly, at least for the class, but these are still very, very slow lap times considering supercars get lap times of about a minute. We also had the trailer, which is kind of the flatbed trailer that you saw in the footage is exactly the same as all the other sort of boxy trailers. They're all pretty much the same, and then there's a distinction between those and the tanker. Obviously the tanker's a lot heavier and a lot slower. And we also had two mules as well. So we had the regular mule, which has been in the game from the start, and then the armoured version of the mule, which was introduced with the heist update, and that is certainly a lot quicker than the regular one. And then in 5th place here, into the top 5, we've got the regular Phantom. So this is the standard Phantom, if you like, the one that isn't the custom version, you could say. And that always used to be the quickest of the big rigs. And then the quickest vehicle for the commercials class entirely always used to be the Benson. That was 1 second per lap, or just over a second per lap, quicker than what we've just seen from the Phantom. Now it's in 4th place because there are 3 vehicles that have been added to the game to the commercials class that are much, much quicker at this point. And you know, if it was a raceable class, you would say that they've completely ruined and dominated the class, but since you can't race with them, it doesn't really matter that much, I guess. But in 3rd place we do have the Phantom Wedge. So the Phantom Wedge gets a lap time of 121.1, which is, you know, a good 14 seconds quicker than what we just saw from the Benson. So these top 3 vehicles really are in a league of their own. The Phantom Wedge is obviously the most difficult thing about driving it is the big wedge on the front. Trying to get around the corners, trying to sort of not get clipped on the curbs with that big wedge is quite difficult, but it does have some decent underlying speed, certainly in terms of acceleration, and its traction isn't too bad, at least in respect to its class, you could say. But now the two that we've all been waiting for, and in second place, probably one that most people don't think, it's the Phantom Custom. So the Phantom Custom is the second quickest commercial class vehicle with a lap time of 121.0. That is only a small amount quicker than the Phantom Wedge, to be honest, and the reason for that is that the Phantom Custom, it has incredible acceleration, at least for the class relative to other vehicles, and it has better acceleration than the Hauler Custom, for example, but it's just so big and wieldy, and its cornering ability is nowhere near on the level of the Hauler Custom, and that's ultimately why it's in second place, because it just can't get around the corners in anywhere near as well as what the Hauler Custom does. So obviously, that kind of gives the game away that the number one vehicle is the Hauler Custom, and it's pretty significant, the lap time difference of a 119.2. It's almost 2 seconds per lap quicker than the Phantom Custom, and we see a comparison at the end as well, where the Hauler Custom is just able to drive away. At this point, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already for new testing videos every Thursday and update videos when new cars are released, and check out other classes in the playlist. We'll also have a top speed video for these vehicles next Thursday. But yeah, the Hauler Custom, it gets a pretty great lap time considering the class. It's the only one to get under that 1 minute 20 barrier. It doesn't have quite the acceleration as what the Phantom Custom does, but it doesn't need it because it's exiting all the corners at a higher speed, because it can just take the corners much quicker. You're going around the corners at a higher speed than what you can do in the Phantom Custom, because the Hauler Custom is smaller, it's got better traction, it can just get around the corners much easier, and ultimately when you're pulling an MOC, the Hauler Custom is a better option than the Phantom. It will be tiny amount quicker in terms of top speed, and it will be much better trying to actually get it around corners or drive it around the map, because the Phantom Custom is just so big and wieldy. But like I said, in general, there's not an awful lot of difference. The MOC kind of makes the difference between the two vehicles almost negligible once it's on the back of it, once they're pulling it. So yeah, this is the comparison between the two. You can see at first hand the difference, and you'll see that the Phantom Custom will be able to sort of pull back on the Hauler Custom on the straights, but the Hauler Custom just drives away in the corners just because it's that much better. So it's interesting to see that the Hauler Custom, the regular Hauler is the slowest of the old style big rigs. So the big rigs that we had when the game was first released, the Hauler was by far and away the slowest. Then we had the Packer, which doesn't have a custom version, and then we had the Phantom. So the Phantom always used to be the quickest in the old style of big rigs. Now it's switched around with the custom versions, and the Hauler Custom is more expensive to buy when you're purchasing your MOC. Getting the Hauler Custom instead of the Phantom Custom is the more expensive purchase, and whether it's worth it is depending on how much money you have, what you really want for it, how much you're going to use it. It will be the quicker one and it will be the better one, but not by an awful lot. So it's not really a necessary buy when you're considering which cab to have for your MOC. But that is it. That is the entirety of the commercials class all done and dusted. Like I said, we'll have the top speed testing video for the commercials class next Thursday, and then we've got all the other non-raceable classes to go through as well, like I mentioned. But that's pretty much it for this video. Remember to read the description for more info, comment with your thoughts, like the video if you enjoyed it, found it helpful, subscribe for more, and consider supporting on Patreon. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.